FedEx full, we commanding the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, ain't no need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Command is moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. KDot and the mid dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Trying to dance why, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the word, so shit is shit. KDot.
Welcome everyone to District Divided, a DC sports podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is KDot. This episode primarily centered around, we got a huge Thursday night football game, guys. We go to Philadelphia, who currently lead the NFC East. About half a game here, 7-2 against us at 7-3. That's going to be on Prime, 8:15 p.m. Looking forward to that. So we're going to break that game down for you guys. Give our predictions, get into the comment mailbag after the pod, and we have our All-22 review with KDot here in just a moment, recapping the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But before we begin this episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and KDot.
I found a poem. Just, I was looking through some old books. I was in an old bookstore and was flipping through. I found the shelf where the Coach Gibbs Bible was at, and they were like, I flipped through, and I saw a book in leather with gold and burgundy writing, and I was like, you know what? It had some pretty good things in there. So just read this up. In the face of our foes, we stand bold and true, with burgundy pride and gold running through. Surely victory and strength will be our hit. Now and forever, go share this shit. Share it!
Share this shit. Was that last part of the poem as well? Or was that just what you added to it?
All of it.
That was
all of
beautiful.
part of it.
My Gibbs Bible did come in. All the pages are blank. So I need to send it back and get some more. I don't know what happened there.
No, it's a message in that. You got to think it
Oh.
through.
Well, I will. And I'm going to go ahead
to your heart.
go ahead and do exactly that as we get to the All-22 review featuring our very own KDot.
I wish I had. Oh, yeah, here it is.
Nice.
It's the All-22 review on District Divided. Bitches!
All right, beautiful.
It's gonna be a weird episode, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Not 50, not 60, 70 screens. Go ahead, KDot.
Thank you. All right. So Steelers game. This was interesting tape. This was some interesting tape. Made me feel good about some things, not so good about other things. It made me think a lot about the statement that we were saying in the last episode, where we and you kind of were going back and forth about, would you consider this to be a stolen victory if we were to pull this one out?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel less firm on that. I think that they did some things that were pretty fucking good. Just got beat one too many fucking times, and this ends up being what it is.
Good teams, yeah.
So, if you talk about the Steelers, this is the king of disciplined teams, right? Like every year, they're the ones that, like, when you go, I would think, I haven't looked this stat up. I should have looked this stat up. Over the course of the last 10 years, I don't think there's any team in the NFL that probably wins more one-score games than the Pittsburgh Steelers. Which is like they straddle that razor line, right? Where it's like, yeah, we just got to stick with it, take advantage when we can take advantage of it, and we're going to be fine. Don't make mistakes. We got this, and we'll be in position to win the fucking game. And that's what it felt like. It just felt like they were more disciplined than we were being. So, whatever. It is extremely frustrating considering how disciplined we've been, how well we think of the coaching staff. But
right.
Now, breaking down, of course, things offense, defense. I'll start with the offense. Prior to the game, I remember telling everybody in that preview episode, the Pittsburgh generates pressure, but what they don't necessarily do is blitz. They can stay within the confines of their defense and get there with their front four.
Right.
They can still get there with the front four, but I tell you, in this fucking game, they blitzed. They fucking blitzed, all right? There was a lot of shit that they were doing that was just not what it is that they put on tape in any other game before this one. So I started looking at it, like blitz numbers, all, and it's, yeah, this is the anomaly game. Like you can see Mike Tomlin, those guys were like, we're going to rattle the rookie. We're going to rattle the rookie. So a lot of what they do is they play a lot of like cover 3, or they play a lot of man stuff and just kind of play within the confines of the base defense. And they're athletic and good enough and disciplined enough that they can make everything work out of there. They can be good as far as run defense. They can play as far as coverage. They do a damn good job. But what they were doing a lot of times, there are so many times where you turn on tape, plays about to start. There are 6 guys near the line of scrimmage. And you're like, okay, I guess they're bringing a house. And they don't. They'll drop 2 fucking linebackers all the way back, just running back and say, oh, it's a cover 3. Like, they were just doing all sorts of shit. You could just tell if Jayden was watching the VR and they had things plugged in that the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to potentially do, this is not what they did. Okay?
Interesting.
So there's a lot of, like, okay, you got to give Jayden credit. Rookie quarterback always got to be reminded, right? Like, as much as he looks special, he's still a rookie. And if you're still looking at it from just a rookie standpoint, he still did damn good. This felt like the closest you just get to a rookie game, and I'm not even calling it a rookie game. This is a quarterback playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? It's like, this is what they do. They're good at this shit. It's just that they threw a bunch of other wrinkles in there that made people think just a little bit more. And I'm not going to deny, they got to Jayden. They were rattling him. Like, even if you don't see all the hits, like anytime that we were trying to do anything on the RPO, they were making sure they touched him. There were more hands on Jayden Daniels in this game than most, even without the runs.
I even saw a clip where it showed these D linemen on those read options where it looked like they were just told, just go after Jayden so that he doesn't hold it.
Yep. You can see it outright. Like, anytime that you had, and usually you got Jayden trying to make the decision based on what it is the defender's going to do. They say, fuck that, go for him.
Right.
Just go for him. And even if he hands it off, does whatever, they were touching him constantly. So it's a lot of just touching him. Now, there's another thing. If you look at the game, and some of the play calling stuff, I would say that I don't think he was 100%. I still don't think he's 100% as far as the rib thing goes. I know that it's hard to tell because it's not like he's grabbing at anything or whatever, but it does feel as though the scope of what Kliff Kingsbury was doing did not feel as though they were doing a whole lot or thought that he could do a whole lot with his athleticism. At least that's what I'm saying. Because, like, I would have wanted them to try more things. They just didn't feel like they ever got to it.
He doesn't look like his fluid self, the past couple of weeks with it. He's still getting the ball on target most of the time. But, yeah, maybe 1 or 2 errant throws that you're not used to seeing early on, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So, like, there was – you know what it felt like? And this is going to sound sacrilege. But you remember when RG3 wanted to be a pocket passer? It just felt unnatural. It just looked kind of unnatural. For Jayden, it's like, you got a gazelle. He wants to run. He wants to roam free. And he's not being able to do that. He's in the confines of a box. So, like, there's a little bit of that you're just kind of like, just get out there. But I'll even say maybe they couldn't, because if you look at it, what Patrick Queen was doing, who had his best game so far this year, Patrick Queen has been criticized a lot by Pittsburgh media, by national media, not being that dude. He had a hell of a game. What they were doing as far as spying Jayden, and like you said, when they came to the point where it was like, just go attack his ass, they were fucking doing it. Now, on the offensive line, you could absolutely see, bar none, without question, these guys are banged up. And Wiley, look, y'all wanted to talk shit. Y'all wanted to talk shit about Andrew Wiley, right? The motherfucker's needed, bro. Like, he is needed, okay? Needed badly. Number one for the running thing, there might not be, outside of Cosme, a better run-blocking offensive lineman that we have than Andrew Wiley. What they do as far as pulling him, what he does as far as setting the edge, he's just been amazing at it. That was gone. I don't want to shit on Trent Scott, but you can clearly see he's just not.
There's a reason he's a backup. There's no shame in that either. But he's being asked to suddenly, go against Alex Highsmith or TJ Watt. That's not easy.
It's not easy.
And then they're blitzing too.
It's a lot of that, right? So like, and then remember last All-22, I was talking about how Brandon Coleman, we were saying, oh my God, he held Brian Burns to nothing. How did they make that happen?
Holding some and stuff like that.
There was some of that stuff. We're not going to, they didn't call it. It didn't happen. So like at the end of that, what they were doing in that Giants game was they were sending him a lot of help. So like you'd have a tight end, a wide receiver, a running back or whatever would chip a dude before Brandon would take the assignment, right? So you buy Brandon like a half a second, which can make all the difference in the world. We're just trying to fucking get the court. We're trying to get the ball out. And then he can kind of readjust, do whatever he's got to do. There weren't a lot of that happening in this game. And this is where I go to the Kliff Kingsbury. I don't know what the fuck is going on. A lot of times we were in 11, 12 personnel, whatever. And there was no chipping. It's just go run a route. Like, just go run. So they weren't really providing as much help as they would typically do in more of the heavy sets to chip guys or to help Scott out on this end or to help this guy on this end. They were like, we need options. We need guys to go out there and get options. And you could see it was just the pressure was kind of getting there. They didn't have the lanes necessarily, and the running attack just wasn't something that they felt, I think, comfortable with doing or sustaining. And you can see it in the numbers. Also, it's kind of a surprise that Chris Rodriguez didn't get as many carries. I think with a game like that, if McNichols isn't really taking off, and you don't want to give Eckler 30 carries a game, which I think is just evident right now, they don't want to do that with Austin Eckler.
Right.
Then maybe try to see who's got the hot hand, like spice it up or jazz it up a bit, but because it just looked very, very vanilla in that sense as far as the running attack. And also, the way that Pittsburgh plays defense, which they do a lot of press. They do a lot of press man. And because these guys are so fucking disciplined, if you want to know why all the screens look like they just didn't work, it's because they could diagnose them absolutely immediately. They were right there near the line of scrimmage, and that shit just wasn't going to work the same way that it typically works for us.
Would it be fair to say then, and I know I'm maybe going the extra mile here, we got out coached on this side of the ball this week?
Yes.
Okay. And that
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But there's also just, we got out physical too. Like if the offensive line, as far as the injuries that you have there, without having a Brian Robinson who can absorb a hit and still get you 2 or 3 or 4 yards and turn something negative into something positive, that's the most damning thing coming out of this game. And I made sure I did the count on the play-by-play. There were 10 plays in this game with 0 or negative gains.
Oof.
There were 22 run plays in total. 10 plays of no gain or negative yardage. You can't do that. There's no way to sustain anything if that's what you're getting. So that's a combination of some of the play calling, but that's also just a combination of you don't have a Wiley out there. These guys are playing super, super physical, and they're really, really fast. Remember, these guys are coming off that bye. They're fucking ready to go. They're fucking feeling it, and they got the game plan that they know is going to work for this particular thing.
Right.
So, yeah, they teed off, and they did what they needed to do. And with all that said, they still scored 27 points to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Which ties a season high against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we're putting that in perspective, and we're talking about a rookie quarterback here in Jayden Daniels, maybe not looking quite like himself. We still put up 27. Also, mind-numbing stat, which I could not believe, and maybe I don't want to get caught like Aaron Rodgers over here. I didn't fact check it, but I was trying to think through the situation. Jayden Daniels passing touchdowns. He didn't have any this past week, but just a quick aside. None of them have been caught outside of the end zone.
Huh. So no one's running into the end zone with the ball.
Correct.
That's weird.
Isn't that crazy? Because, fans were talking about, being stopped at the 1 yard line, right? We've had many, many situations that somebody runs it in.
Huh.
No touchdown that has been thrown has been run in. It has been caught in the end zone.
I'm thinking back.
Both of Terry's against Baltimore. This takes away Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chicago won. Hail Mary. Noah catches it in the end zone. Giants game, Terry, both of them were in the end zone. Actually,
what about Ben Sinnott's touchdown?
Ben Sinnott's, I believe, was no, but that was Mariota.
Fuck. Huh.
Trent Scott in the end zone. Terry in the end zone. Yeah, actually, okay. So we just sort of mapped it out. That's true. Just crazy stat. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, not to derail.
No, it's interesting. I mean, but that goes to something that kind of when you're watching the tape. I know I saw some things about this on Twitter, which is like we're starting to get into this point where they might need to just trying things.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Ertz is absolutely a wonderful safety valve for Jayden. He trusts him. Usually throws the ball that way. He's going to catch it. Everybody had a rough game this game. But Ertz's ability to absorb contact and do anything with Yak is pretty much non-existent.
Correct.
Wherever he catches the ball is where he's going to end. Okay? Like that's just what
back a yard.
Or back a yard.
Sorry, feels too soon.
No, that's fair. So, I mean, there are just certain cases where it's like, okay, if I'd like to see Sinnott get in there, but Sinnott's caught in that space where he's like not as sure-handed a receiver, as trusty of a player as Zach Ertz, and he doesn't block as good as John Bates. He might be a perfect amalgamation of the two, but he doesn't do either thing better than them, so he's just not getting playing time. But I'd like to see more playmakers. And not to mention, I keep, like, even Luke McCaffrey, who had the miss on one, and that's on him. The non-catch on the side is on him. Yeah. It's difficult, but that's on you, bud. and then Jayden misses him across the middle, which would have changed the entire dynamic.
That would have been the Luke McCaffrey game that is looking for.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
It's coming.
But yeah, I mean, I think that like outside of Terry, and I saw people doing the comparison with like Terry's touchdowns like in his rookie season compared to Terry's now. He doesn't look as fast as he used to, which comes with age, but it doesn't matter. But
He's
it's like
fine.
he's probably fine. But I just think they need to get these guys more in space and kind of running, like with a full head of steam.
Which they have done. Yeah, which they have done for most of the season. And again, this is the best defense we've gone against all year. So just want to add that context as well. That like, hey, we're talking about it. This may be trying to think about other times, maybe the Tampa game, but that's week 1. The only time we got outcoached on this side of the ball.
Yeah.
Because even Chicago and the other games where we shoot ourselves in the foot, that's much more the penalties versus the actual, we were moving the ball at will.
Okay, but just counter and the thing to keep in the back of your head. Maybe nobody wants to keep it in the back of the head. What's the story or the MO
with Kliff?
Kingsbury and his offense?
Is it being figured out? Is the question.
Right around
Dan
now.
Quinn comes out and says that there's more to the playbook, so time will tell. But it's important to note. But it's important to note, KDot, you're right. That has been a narrative with Kliff Kingsbury. So we'll have to keep an eye out. We will.
Right, and just the last 2 games were the first 2 games that we've been critical of Kliff. So I'm saying that like
that coincides with Jayden's rib injury. So it's
coincides with a bunch of injuries, right? So like
that's true.
Yeah, 100%. So like I'm just saying, back of the head, back of the head, back of your mind. Just keep it. Just register it right. Put it up on a shelf. Just keep it there. All right. Okay. Defense. Now this is where it gets to the topsy-turviness of this fucking game. I am so much happier with the defense overall than I was with the offense, which just seems like a complete direct opposite of everything that's happened this season. And I know everybody. We have the plays that nobody's gonna forget. The Mike Williams catch, like the George Pickens fucking crazy circus shit. I know we'll remember those forever. But they did a pretty good job defensively throughout this game. It's just nothing was helping them out at all. You get them up punt. Terrible field position for these guys, right? You get the offense. Can't sustain shit. So they keep kicking the ball off and giving them great field position. Shorter fields. Not a lot of time. You saw the time possession. I don't have it. I think I deleted it. But do you know the time possession? They beat us on that, right? Like there was just moments of like we couldn't get anything sustained, and the defense was doing everything they possibly could to keep us in the game, and the offense just couldn't help them out. It was bad complimentary football, guys.
Agreed.
Bad complimentary football.
Yeah. No, it's incredibly well said, and it's something we harp on constantly. We harped on it last year for those of you that have been riding with us since last year. Complimentary football is everything. That's why we weren't big fans of Eric Bieniemy. Specifically, KDot was like, dude, you are screwing not only the offense, but the defense. And we saw it again this time. Again, Jayden Daniels was 17 to 34. That's 50% completion percentage. That's not going to help you with complimentary football, especially when he's not a threat on the ground. 3 carries for 5 yards. And like KDot said, 10 plays that were either 0 yards gained or negative out of 22 runs. That's not going to help a defense out that, gave up those 2 plays that we all remember. But it sounds like they did a decent job overall and just needed help from the offense.
They did a decent job overall. But if to be critical, which you need to be critical, everyone fucked up at some point on the defense.
Sure.
Everyone has a miscue.
Not just St. Just.
Everyone has
want that noted. Just want that noted.
Everyone has
pitchforks out for the guy.
Colossal fuck up in this defense at some point. And here's the thing. I think that Pittsburgh does a damn good job of capitalizing. Russell Wilson and those guys, they do a great job. If you're out of position, if there's a blown coverage, they take advantage of it. And I'll even tell you, there was some stuff left out on the field that Russ could have taken advantage of. That he absolutely missed. So I want you to keep that in your mind too. But I think the drive that everybody's kind of looking at is like, yep, that probably is the thing that did us in. When the offense is finally moving. So going back to the offense, you could see, which is a good thing to see offensively, Jayden used Terry to get out of his funk. He's relying on Terry. And Terry is like, motherfucker, feed me. I got you. I got your back. Just feed me. Feed me. I got you. Because Joey Porter, I like him overall. Boy, looked like toast. Right? It was bad, Porter. It was bad. I want you to talk. You ain't talking shit, all right? Like, Terry had that, beating that man like a fucking drum, okay? That sounded, pause. Now,
it's a sports saying. You're good.
Yeah, fair enough. But so we score before the half. We go into the halftime. After the half, we score again.
Right.
Great move. So all right, we're in the shit. We're in it now. We're in it. Defense, go get us a stop. And what they do on 3rd and 8, bust an assignment by I think it's Frankie Louvu. Hard to tell exactly. It's one of the linebackers, either Louvu or Wagner. But if you kind of look at the way the play developed, I think it's Louvu. Louvu fucks it up. He doesn't do what he's supposed to do. What happens? Jaylen Warren burns you 26 yards. Fuck. We were right there. 3rd and 8. Queued it up perfectly. What do you think? You fucked it up? And what happens? 26 yards later. God damn it. All right, so what do you do next? Dante Fowler says, I got your back, dog. Stack his ass. -10 yards. You're like, oh, shit.
Oh, I remember what comes next.
Dante's got it back. Oh, offense score. We got this shit, right?
This the pick and slant?
Pickens. 2nd and 20. 20.
I remember this.
34 yards to George fucking Pickens, man. And that shit. Oh, that was so frustrating. Pre-snap. Quan Martin. Don't know what he saw or why he did it, but he rolls over to the other side of the field. And all I'm thinking, Russell Wilson saying, y'all really going to leave George Pickens out there one-on-one? Okay. It's automatic. It's automatic. Sanders still. Here's your fuck up, buddy. You're playing so fucking far off the line. You don't jam him. You don't do shit. And you're playing terrible leverage. So when he catches the fucking ball, which was easy, it was like a deep slant.
It looked like last year's defense, that play.
It was a deep slant.
Yep, I remember it.
I forget what the
it's
fuck
burned in my memory. Yeah.
I forget what the fuck the name of that route is. If anybody knows it, it's probably easy, but a deep slant. Or intermediate slant, you call it. Catch the ball. Sanders still. Terrible tackle, bro. Terrible tackle, bro. And then Quan Martin, because you're out of fucking position, then takes a terrible angle and bounces right off the motherfucker. You turn a 2nd and 20 into a 30-something yards because of the fuck up. 2 fuck ups, same drive. Guys that we love. Sanders still. Love that dude, right? He's a big, like, we love him.
Yeah.
Frankie Louvu. Nobody wants to criticize Frankie Louvu, but they all fucked it up. Everybody had an opportunity to fuck something up. So it was just bad. Now, if you turn around, offense had ample time after that. Like, all right, let's score. Let's do something. They do nothing. No complimentary football. These guys were just out of sorts in this fucking game, man. Even the Warren fumble at the goal line. They were marching down that field. Here's a gift wrap. Here's an opportunity. Here, take it. Can't capitalize on shit.
That's when the McCaffrey miss happened on 2nd and 9. I remember that. Yeah.
Yep. So you fucked it up. And you talk about like 3 plays. Like I can point to 3 things. 3 things. If any one of those things happen, what are we looking at? If Louvu plays Warren correctly and they can't convert in the 3rd and 8, we get the ball back. Another opportunity. Right? On the 2nd and 20. If Quan stays over on the other side and Russ has to think, all right, well, Pickens is going to be open. I got to go somewhere else with the football. Who knows what that looks like? That's right. 3rd and 20, potentially. They're going to make all those yards up.
Even 3rd and 10.
Any of that shit would have been a lot better than converting on a 2nd and 20.
Or if Jayden hits Luke, you know?
It was just bad shit. Now, the only thing I would take as far as like interesting thing to watch going forward, they moved Deron Payne a lot around on the defensive line in this game. He was playing on the outside, inside, doing all kinds of shit. What they do as far as the Louvu, because I think I saw a stat with something like Louvu and Wagner are responsible for the most pressures in the NFL for guys that play off the line. Like both of them are like top 2, top 3.
Awesome.
They do a hell of a thing where it's like they're communicating, and based on who's got the assignment, they know whether or not to go for the quarterback, which is partially why Louvu made the wrong read when it came to Jaylen Warren. He kind of screwed out. Things happen. But Deron Payne, very interesting where it is that they're seeing as far as athleticism kind of moving around. Maybe if they trust Newton a bit more, maybe he's the next guy to kind of move around or something. But they're doing some interesting things there.
Okay. Final question I have for you before we begin to talk about this Philadelphia Eagles matchup. The run defense, how'd that look?
They did a good job. Like the thing is, like, they kept them pretty bottled up. Like, you can see Pittsburgh really wanted to do it, and the only person that gave them any real fits was Warren.
Right.
And I think Warren is more of that change of pace stuff. And in Warren, if you look at his carries, I think it got better over time because you got a defense that, once again, offenses are helping them out, and they're getting tired. And that's what kind of happens over the course of the game, right? So you keep getting punched in the fucking mouth, and yet the fast guy that comes in with the uppercut or something, you're like, oh shit, catch me off guard. Like, it's just
right.
Warren is the one that kind of burnt them. It was just kind of like, if you could keep Najee Harris, who's coming off of this run, I forget how many like game he was coming off, like this 3 games.
Yeah, 3 straight games over 100 yards. He's 21 carries for 53.
They did a good job. It was just a matter, like I'm telling you, if it wasn't for those miscues, if it's not for the 2 fuck ups on that drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh's at 21 points.
Yeah,
I take that. I take that.
Yeah,
right.
We lost by 1 point ultimately, and there were so many different individual plays where if they go our way, one of them, maybe, just maybe, we're talking about an 8-2 football team here in the Washington Commanders. Speaks to it. So it's good that we were close, but man, it's a game that hurts because of exactly that, how close it was.
You shot yourself in the foot. Like,
Yeah.
They killed themselves at the end. The fact that they were still in it against a Pittsburgh team is something you got to keep in mind, which is just like, it almost feels like Team of Destiny sort of shit, right? Like, it's just, they're making it work. They're just getting it. And we got big play guys, and they can take advantage of certain things at certain opportune times. But,
and then also played well enough to get the ball back, but then we jump offside. Right. So
I keep going back to, we are baby Pittsburgh. Like,
Yeah.
What did I say about Pittsburgh in the open? They do just enough. They win by the 1 score because they're pretty sure they're going to be the ones with the ball at the end,
right.
because the way they play it, right? So we play it close. We play the time possession game. Don't give you a lot of opportunities. And if you do get the opportunities and you score on them, cool. But we're still doing what we need to do to keep us in the game. It just didn't go our way.
I think it's a good way to sum it up. It just didn't go our way. Any final thoughts here before we move on to the preview?
Tough game. That was a tough game.
All right. And with that, thank you, KDot. Let's move over to the game preview against the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's the All-22 review on District Divided. Bitches!
All right. Thank you once again, KDot, for the All-22 review against the Pittsburgh Steelers over there. Sounds like we were close. Let's see if we can get over the hump this time against the 7-2 Philadelphia Eagles. Thursday Night Football National Spotlight. I'm very, very excited for this one. I'm sure the entire fan base is. That's going to be on Amazon Prime, or however you stream it. And with that, we need to go ahead and provide context for the game over here. So as we always do, we begin with the injury report. So beginning with us, the names to look at, you see those DNPs, Nick McLaurin, Marshawn Lattimore, Austin Seibert, all declared out for this game over here. So obviously a big blow. And then we have Brandon Coleman, Cornelius Lucas, and Andrew Wiley, all questionable for this game. And so that is going to be pretty interesting when you got 3 tackles all listed as questionable. They all seem to be on track to play, though, if you listen to beat reporters. So that is optimistic. And Brian Robinson, a full go for this game, which is huge. So we're getting Brian Robinson Jr. back. There is no injury designation on him now. He's ready to rock and roll for the game. And now flipping over to the Philadelphia Eagles. This one's nice and quick. And KDot, we can even take it off this because they're all healthy. All 53 players are cleared as of just a few minutes ago. No injury designations. There's no questionable, nothing. They're good to go. Their 53 are all good to go, which is obviously quite scary entering this kind of matchup where we just went against a very physical Pittsburgh Steelers team and they got to go against a shell of a Dallas Cowboys team that's complaining about sunlight in their own stadium. I mean, that's basically what's happened. And so with that, why don't we go ahead and begin to break the game down, beginning with Jayden Daniels, Kliff Kingsbury, and this Commanders offense against a Philadelphia Eagles defense, which initially started a bit slow. They've been good recently. KDot, how would you go ahead and attack this Eagles defense?
Let's go to the keys.
Okay.
So passing versus pressure, 5 stars. Okay. I don't know if that's like a game plan there. Intermediate passing. Okay. 4 stars. Running outside the tackles. Okay. Rushing shotgun, passing versus the blitz. Okay. So the passing ones are more just like statistically it works in our favor, but it's not really a game plan right around that, right? It's just like if they pressure, we usually do good. So like, I think it's coming back. Run the ball. Run the ball. Run the ball, goddamn. You gotta run. You gotta try. Like you gotta try. Once again, we talk about the complimentary football stuff, right? But let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a bean, okay? The Eagles haven't played a team worth a goddamn since week 4. Like they haven't played anybody worth a damn since week 4. And that was the Tampa Bay game. In comparison, Washington hasn't beat a team worth a damn since Arizona in week 4. Okay, so it's one of these things where it's like you look at Philadelphia, look at the stats, you're like, okay, they haven't given up 100 yards on the ground since week 6 against Cleveland. Giants, Bengals, Jags. They ain't face us.
To be clear, that's I want to say it's 100 yards combined. Yeah. Okay. So it's not just one 100-yard rusher. It's overall.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, because the lead rusher was Pierre Strong at 8 carries for 43 yards against the Eagles.
This is going to be one of these. Look, I look at the questionable designation of the offensive lineman, and I say, if all our guys can't go, long day in the office, guys. Long day in the office. Because I'm sorry. If I got to rely on Trent Scott rolling out and being the lead blocker on something, I ain't got a good feeling about that. Okay? I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to keep it. I don't feel good about that. Now, the Jayden Daniels piece of it all, we kind of talk about like he doesn't look 100%. Now, maybe he is. Now, I don't know. Any in which way, just run the fucking ball, man. Like, Philadelphia, pound for pound, might be the most talented team in the NFL. Like, be hard pressed to find anybody that's like more talented through and through. But Pittsburgh's damn good. And like, at the end of the day, like, if I'm comparing between like what it is they're going to do defensively compared to what, I don't think they have a Patrick Queen that can spy them the same way that Pittsburgh can. They don't really have that. So it's like, to me, it's like we got to test some things. And I think testing them is run the fucking football. Defensively, as far as their pass defense go, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, the 2 rookies, they've looked good. They've looked damn good. Darius Slay is actually your opportunity, I think. If Terry's lined up against Darius Slay, I think take those shots if you can.
Well against him.
That's your opportunity. I don't want to test that rookie too much because the boy looking like, yeah, bring it. He's
got a nice mentality as well. I got to say, just like when watching him trying to be objective, I'm like, the kid is good.
He can play. The other thing that Philadelphia really has going for him that doesn't get talked about enough is they get turnovers. A lot of their shit and a lot of these score discrepancies are turnovers. You look at the last 3 games, 2, 3, and 5 turnovers. Those things are crucial. If there's one thing that Washington's done a pretty damn good job of, looking at you, Oz, is not turning over the football. Okay?
Right.
If we don't allow them to have those opportunities and you play the field position game, you play the time possession game, you take advantage to have these long drives, these sustained drives, and you get them off guard. The run and what we're able to do with the run creates so many opportunities for other things, guys. So many opportunities for other things. We're finally getting into play action shit. Play action only works if you're a threat to run the ball. You got to do it. That's me. That's how I'm attacking this thing. And I'm going all day. B-Rob, you ain't playing a while. Hope you rested up, buddy. Everybody else in a short week, not you. You getting these carries.
No, I mean, listen, KDot, that was the conclusion I came to as well. The moment I found out Brian Robinson was good to go, I'm like, oh, good. The identity's back. When I hear that these 3 tackles, yes, they're questionable, but it sounds like they're all on track to play. Let's say one doesn't. That's still 2 out of 3. I feel good about our offensive line and its chances against an Eagles defensive line that is pretty good. Doing that gets us back to what we do. We just talked about complimentary football and the lack thereof against the Pittsburgh Steelers, losing by 1 point. You're going to need it on the road in a divisional game. You know how I feel about those, KDot. Those can be very tricky. So when you are able to support a defense that's going to be in a hostile road environment, Well, now we can have a conversation. And I do believe that Brian Robinson, this Commanders offensive line, can get some push and make opportunities easier for, once again, a rookie quarterback in Jayden Daniels. Yes, he's been spectacular overall, but a rookie nonetheless in his very first game at the Link. So I agree with you. That's what I would do. Is this the Luke McCaffrey game? Let's see. If Darius Slay's on Terry, also agree with you, KDot. Attack that matchup. Oftentimes when we're on the road, we go to Terry. Think about it. 2 touchdowns against Baltimore, 2 touchdowns against the New York Giants. That 3rd and 7 catch against Cincinnati. Terry feasts on the road. He just does. So keep using him as well. So run the ball first and foremost, though. I completely agree, KDot.
Yeah, I think this is the run the football day. And I do think one of these games, especially, look at the rest of the season. We can do this. We can look at the rest of the season. I'll pull it up. Let's look at the rest of the season.
Look at that.
These are our 2 toughest games, dude. Like, period.
Yes.
We just played Pittsburgh and we got the Eagles. We got them one more time at home later on in the year. But this is your opportunity game. Like, to me, this is one of these things where it's like, hey, try some shit. Do some stuff. Like, we're not in must-win territory. I'm gonna be completely honest. We're not in must-win territory.
Can I double down on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just because I think people see this. I think they go, if we lose, right? Let's play that game for a moment. If we lose, we're 7-4, and the Eagles are 8-2. The Eagles' rest of schedule, because we just saw ours, because then we have we have Dallas and Tennessee, excuse me, both at home. You would expect to win both. So let's go ahead and project that out for a moment.
Yep.
Right. We would then be 9-4 heading into our bye. Let's say we win both. The Eagles after us, they have at the LA Rams, which I would anticipate the Eagles win, but it's at the LA Rams. It's a night game. Who knows? Rams need it to keep up with their division now.
I'll bet against Sean McVay.
At Baltimore after that. Carolina at home. Pittsburgh at us. Okay, that's the next few games for them. So for them, it's a must win. For us, if we win, we're in the driver's seat in this division big time. So this is, I think, a bigger game for Philadelphia when we look at the schedule than it is for us. So I want to agree with you, KDot.
I think the vibe in Philadelphia is that if they lose this game, it almost feels catastrophic on sports radio the following morning. Okay. On prime time, they lose this thing. Washington, look, man, they're coming off the short week, banged up as fuck. You see the injury report. Even if these guys can go, they're clearly not 100%.
Right.
And the Jayden Daniels piece of it all. Oh, did you want to play that video, or did you have a particular point in time that you want?
Bit later.
All right, cool. Yeah. I'll save that. Sorry, I didn't mean to spoil it.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
There is an element to the best way that this team is going to be able to do anything is run the football. It's our bread and butter, guys. That is what we talk about. That identity. The identity is some smash mouth in your fucking face football, and then Jayden Daniels and our guys be able to take the lid off the fucking top. But the other thing there needs to be, I think this game, when looking at the rest of these opponents, is the game that I really look for somebody else to emerge as a playmaker. I'm waiting for that day. The Luke McCaffrey, who's open a lot, to emerge as a playmaker. The Ben Sinnott getting some opportunities. We've seen anytime he's got the ball in his hands, it's looked good. It's like, oh, I want to see more of that, right? I think it's going to be one of those games where Philadelphia doesn't have a lot of tape on somebody, and they end up being the dude that burns them. I'm waiting for that day. I don't feel like we've had it yet.
Yeah, and on a short week, what better time to try a couple things? Again, it's sort of maybe house money is too strong a term, but in a game where it's much more a must win for the other team, and you're still able to be in position based purely on schedule. And I know the players won't be doing that, but we can as fans. Sure. That you will be in a position to be able to potentially take the division from them down the line in the weeks to come. So why not try a couple things? I know the coaching staff can also look at that stuff too. Any final thoughts here before we flip the script?
Don't make mistakes, guys.
Don't make mistakes. From baby Pittsburgh, a bit more of, child Pittsburgh. Maybe a bit more than a baby. All right. Why don't we go ahead and flip the script and talk about this Eagles offense? And there are two versions of it, KDot. There is the one before the bye where they had A.J. Brown for one game, and they won that game against Green Bay in Brazil. And then after the bye, where Jalen Hurts has been nothing short of sensational. If you look at the numbers for Jalen Hurts against his opponents, He's been great. And I'm just going to read them to you real quick. Against just the passer ratings, just to keep it simple. Against the Cleveland Browns, 126.1. That's still a good Browns defense. And 126.1 is good. Against the Giants, 119.3. The Bengals, 132.5. Jaguars, 132.3. Cowboys, 115. And you might go, okay, no, those are easy teams. Yeah, he's a veteran and he's getting it done, right? You can only play what's on your schedule. So he's looked good. He's been, these touchdown numbers are crazy, especially in the last 4 games. He's run for 2, 3, 1, and 2 respectively. And then he's thrown for 1, 1, 2, and 2. So he's got at least 3 touchdowns accounted for in 4 straight games. So just putting into context, the Eagles offense and Jalen Hurts, I haven't even mentioned Saquon. I mean, what he's been doing this season. So KDot, over to you. How do you slow this team down?
Pray. You got to figure out, do you follow more of a monotheistic religion? Like, do you pray to God, Yahweh, Allah? Are you more of like, do you subscribe to like the Vince Lombardi? Like, there are football gods. Like, you pray to George Halas and Vince and all those guys. Figure that shit out and get right with those guys. This is a tough fucking game for these guys. Look, talk about what it is they did wrong. Oh my God, they were just a few plays away in Pittsburgh from making things happen. This team is different.
Very different.
This team's different. I had this stat written down, right? Because you talked about Jalen Hurts. It's like, yeah, he's been playing pretty good. But they got another guy on that team that I think everybody's seen the viral play. You can see it right there in the corner. It looks like he's taking a little squat and that.
He's good.
Yeah. In the last 3 games, do you know how many rushing yards they have?
How many rushing yards they have? This includes Jalen?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. I wouldn't be. Okay, honestly, and I feel like I'm jumping on the higher side. I think they're damn near 200 yards per.
They're at 506.
In the last 3 games?
In the last 3 games. Now,
okay, I mean, that's a fuck ton.
But here's the thing. I was looking at that, and I'm like, why'd they stop there? Why do I have that stat? Because the game before that, they ran for 269.
Okay, so that would have, yeah.
Like, in the game before, what? Like, this is a problem, guys. This is a problem. Look, I saw about what it is they did in the Pittsburgh game as far as keeping Najee Harris and keeping Jalen Warren kind of honest, right? I think this is going to be one of those games where you just got to try your damnedest to prevent Saquon Barkley from fucking you up. I think that's the game plan, is to stack the fucking box, do what you can do, coverage, you drop those safeties back, drop them back, and help out as best as you can your DBs, because I don't know a single dude on our defense that can be able to take care of A.J. Brown one-on-one.
Yeah, I think let's just go ahead and acknowledge that, right? We don't have it.
It's not here.
We just don't have it. So the communication needs to be A grade, S tier, because man,
top notch. Otherwise, they're gonna beat the shit out of you. But here's your opportunities. Like, let me show the keys. Let's see if the keys show us anything that. Nope. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Rushing out of shotgun.
That's some 3 stars. Passing versus no pressure, 3 stars. That's interesting.
Yeah, man.
Don't pressure him. No.
But that's the thing. It's like Jalen Hurts is somebody that if you do get pressure on him, he doesn't play anywhere near as good as he typically
Correct.
does. So you even look at the Dallas game. Dallas got to his ass 5 times. 5 sacks in that game. Which
he does get sacked a lot. If I could just jump in his last 4 games, 4 sacks, then 0 against the Bengals, who, they bottled up Trey Hendrickson. Good job. And then 3 sacks against Jacksonville and 5 against Dallas. So you can get to him. Go ahead, KDot.
You get to him. Because, look, I don't think you're going to be able to do anything truly to stop A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith for that matter. If they get into space and they get open, it's night. It lights out, guys. So it's making it as difficult as possible for Jalen. And that to me means we got to be down around the line of scrimmage and in the fucking backfield, just doing what it is we can to stop Saquon Barkley from making this. What we don't want is for them to bleed out the clock. Okay? Like, that's what we don't want. We want us to be the ones doing that. If Saquon's able to do that, then it's going to be a very fucking long day. And as a matter of fact, I don't even think Saquon needs to bleed out the clock as much as he's just going to beat you on 50-yard runs in the fucking time. So be sure on your fucking tackling. None of these goddamn miscues, and get the shit done. You got to play discipline. You got to play the most discipline you guys have played all season long. And the other component that this goes from a coaching standpoint, which I do have a lot of faith in. I do have some faith in. Remember that Giants game where I was saying that, like, for no reason, Brian Dable decided that he was just going to stop running football? Like, I think you have an opportunity here. Kellen Moore's a fucking idiot.
We have a coaching advantage in all three phases, I think.
He will pass. He will do shit that makes no fucking sense just because he likes doing it, okay? So if this is one of those situations where, like, if we can sack Jaylen, we can get them in those really negative down and yard distances, right? Where we can send the farm to go after his ass, right? If you can stop Saquon, if you're in those moments where they're passing on first down for no fucking reason, you can get that incompletion. You can get that sack and set them up in those really, really tough situations where Jalen Hurts has got to stand back there with pressure on his fucking face to throw that fucking ball. That's how you win it, okay? That's how you win it. You let them fuck it up and take advantage of their fuck-ups. If I'm them, Saquon's getting this ball 90 fucking times this game, okay? I'm just going to give it to him. Because if he doesn't get the 3 or 4 yards, or maybe he gets 3 or 4 yards, I just know it's a matter of time before he gets fucking 90.
He's like, 2, 3, 2, 3, 55. That's how he rules.
So I tell you that if they're doing anything other than that, they're fucking stupid. Now I know I say that, and I'm like, our DBs go, and I think that's the thing is, like, you see our defensive backs, you see you got AJ Brown, you see you got
are we dangling a carrot in our secondary? Let's go ahead and
hey, Kellen, look, you saw our guys get beat last week. Just throw it. Just keep throwing it. Just throw it. Throw the ball.
Galaxy level coaching right there.
Just throw the ball. Hey, you see Quan Martin? He ran off somewhere else. You got one-on-one, buddy. Just throw it.
It's genius. It's genius. Joe Witt was playing for this game.
Look, man, the 2 times in the last 2 weeks, you got teams that just did something fucking stupid. You get the Giants just stopped running, and then that fake fucking punt. Great call up, but you didn't get it. So shut the fuck up. Like, fuck you. Danny Smith, I love you. And you fucking double bubble and all that shit, but you guys fucked it up. All right? Unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. You scratch a touchdown off the fucking board, you guys are winning going away. So, like,
this is true.
Let them be the ones to fuck it up.
Yeah. And just to reiterate what you said, stopping Saquon, I know I was gushing about Jalen Hurts and how good he's been, and that's much more like the year where Jalen Hurts was an MVP candidate. They have turned it around as a crew, the Philadelphia Eagles. We don't know what happened at the tail end of last season, but it's clearly history. They've looked a lot better these past 5 weeks or so. Now, the coaching, I feel we have a significant advantage over these guys, but I just wanted to quickly agree with you there, KDot. Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner have to be the busiest people here in terms of stopping Saquon, because if Deron Payne and Johnny Newton are holding, and making sure that those rush lanes are disciplined and they can only go towards a Frankie Louvu or Bobby Wagner, got to make the tackle. Got to make the tackle so that it is Jalen Hurts throwing, because it's probably your best bet. Like KDot said, Kellen Moore decides to air it out versus just running 50, 60 times, and that's curtains on the game. Any final thoughts here before we move on to the predictions?
It's looking at that Baltimore game, which is the best team. I mean, there's 3 great teams that we played or are about to play, Pittsburgh being the 3rd. Mm-hmm. Arizona, you can call them pretty good. Not sure. Should have been the team that Ahmed picked, which was side piece team, but that's near the
good on you, Jacinto. You held true. I did not.
That Baltimore game, what did we say? Derrick Henry gonna get his. Mm-hmm. You just gotta make sure you don't let everybody else get it. And I think the thing that you can look at as far as the success aspect of that Baltimore game is they held Lamar Jackson in check. Like, if you look at Lamar Jackson on the ground, Lamar Jackson, what was his final stats as far as on the ground? He had 11 carries for 40 yards. That included a 33-yard long rush, right? They kept him in check. So, like, if you look at that, you're like, all right, this is going to be one of those games where, like, Louvu, you don't get the Jalen Warren mistake this time, but you got to play discipline. Know where the gaps are, know where everybody's supposed to be, and know if he's going to try to break containment, where it is you need to be to take care of it. and then
Right.
gang tackle. Because unlike that George Pickens fucking play, if we got a lot of those George Pickens type plays, motherfuckers are just bouncing off of guys. This is too physical a team. AJ Brown he doesn't look human. Jalen Hurts is not some skinny dude. He will run you the fuck over, okay? And Saquon is just, he might be one of the football guys. Like, this is a tough game.
This is a tough game. So with that, why don't we go ahead and go to the predictions for this game over here, KDot, where once again, the Eagles 7-2, they're at home and 3.5-point favorites against us. And so, as always, from you, KDot, I need a score, I need a winner, and I need a player of the game.
So, once again, this is interesting in the sense of Philadelphia scares me just on paper, the talent and what we've seen them do over the course of last week. It look like they're alive, right? But I also have to be reminded they haven't played anybody worth a damn since week 4. We haven't been on the winning end of those, but we've been there and we've stayed in it. We've not gotten blown out by anybody, right? We're in it. This is going to be an extremely interesting game. With all that being said, 31-24, Philadelphia Eagles. I think we're too banged up. I think this is too short a week. I just think that this is the worst possible team at the worst possible time. Like, if this was next week, feel much better about it. But it's not. It's Thursday night. You saw the injury report. Our guys are not 100%. And I'm hopeful. If we win it, I don't necessarily think I'd be shocked because, once again, Philadelphia haven't played anybody worth a damn since week 4. But I can totally understand it's just not being up to snuff for what it is they are coming off the full week's rest. I just think it's a bad spot.
Yeah. So 31-24 Eagles, you got a player of the game?
Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley makes a lot of sense. He's had damn near, if MVP were not a non-quarterback, open to positions outside of quarterback, he's right up there. I mean, he's been spectacular. Derrick Henry, I think, is number 1, but Saquon's right there.
Saquon's up there. Which is why everybody in New York's getting fired.
Yes. Oh my God. I mean, that was so. Anyway, we could talk about that after the pod, perhaps. Okay. So KDot 31-24 Eagles, player of the game, Saquon Barkley. It's a short week. We're banged up. We're on the road. That tends to favor, the home team. And it's a divisional game on the road. And those are tricky. I was going to pick the Eagles. And then I saw this clip that I sent to KDot. And I'm going to need you to play that now, KDot, when you can.
Hey, I'm back. Oh, that shit you talking, I'm back. I'm back. Come on, bro.
You heard our commander-in-chief. You heard our commander-in-chief. Five's back. It's a national audience. It's prime time. All he does is show up when the lights are brightest. 38-35 Commanders. It's going to happen. I don't think we're stopping Philly. That's why the 35 points for Philly. But it don't matter because when you got 5 and he says he's back, I trust him. And if I'm going down with it, that's fine with me. Player of the game, I'm breaking the rule. JD5. I think he just ends up erupting on the national stage. He's feeling good. This coaching staff, the culture, I'm with it. KDot, I may be going down with it. 38-35 Commanders statement win. Look out. Talk on Friday is going to be, are these guys Super Bowl contenders? That's what we're going to be.
Oh, no. If we beat the Philadelphia Eagles and if Jayden Daniels has another primetime thing, then
Look out.
everybody be ready for a Friday full of Super Bowl for the Commanders. We are the team of destiny. Look, man, I'm hoping for that result. Like I said, you watch the All-22 tape. I don't think he's 100%. I don't think he has been 100%. I think that video kind of confirms it. Like, he's back. What are you back from, Jayden? Like,
he knows. He knows he wasn't 100. That told me, I was like, okay, I think he's good.
And if that's the case, if he hasn't been 100%, then things start making more sense, right? Why maybe we've questioned some of Kliff Kingsbury's play calling.
Yes.
He hasn't had the open playbook, right? To have a Brian Robinson back at full strength with a Jayden Daniels who's fully healthy, and now we have the entire playbook to look at. Look, shootout's very, very possible. And if we're in a shootout, it's very, very hard to think you're not going to pick JD5 the way he's looked. I'm taking him over Jalen Hurts. I know that much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In terms of just the quarterback matchup, I prefer our guy already over their guy.
But for every other position.
That's the thing. So that's why he's my player in the game, because I don't see us winning any other way, honestly. Yeah. So we'll see. But those are our predictions. Time for bet of the week.
Stay the fuck away from it. I ain't even spoiling shit. Just don't bet on this game. Just watch it. Just watch it.
Amazing.
Just watch the game.
Advice. And with that, why don't we go ahead and go to the comment mailbag featuring our very own Nikki.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. District divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
Alrighty, thank you as always for that, Nikki. Thoroughly appreciate it. We are going to.
Can I say something real quick?
Oh yeah.
If you do want to bet on some Eagles props, there's some room. I'm just gonna
you've never given an opponent player.
No, I'm not gonna do this. This is why I didn't do this in the bet of the week segment. It's not a bet of the week. So the
general thought.
But if you happen to be on one of the apps and you see like a Jalen Hurts touchdown, anytime touchdown, might be something worth clicking. Like if you see Saquon Barkley, like 75 yards combined receiving, you might want to click on that. Maybe you combine the two. I don't know. I won't be doing it, or at least if I do, won't be admitting to it. So let's go.
No comment. We go over to Chop Shop 523. Shout out. It's a lot of emojis, a lot of angry emojis, and like the huffing, puffing emoji, clown emoji, shit emoji. Basically, just very upset with the way that the game went for us. I'll even show it to you. Hold on. See all that?
A lot of emojis. Angry clown shit.
Yeah, that's the comment. KDot, your reaction. Cool. We go. Appreciate you, Chop Shop, who is subscribed, by the way. We go over Tony. Shout out, Tony. I think this loss is 65% on the offense. Too many missed opportunities. Kliff's game plan or JD5's execution has been teetering on the questionable side the past 3 games. JD5 never looked comfortable. I know the O-line was missing some key pieces, but the offense is going to have to be damn near flawless to win on Thursday. I still believe in St. Juice, but what I consistently see from him is he breaks out of his back pedal late and he doesn't have the makeup speed. He corrects by grabbing wide receivers for holding, PIs, and getting beat over the top. I hope he's better at number 2 or number 4 CB, but damn, every week he has 2 penalties and a touchdown on his head. Number 2, if the kick Frozone back inside, or number 4, if Frozone stays outside. And that's the comment there from Tony. Shout out one more time. KDot, your reaction to the comment.
Yeah. St. Juice, I think, plays better than the times he didn't beat it. Like, it doesn't tell the full story. But yeah, there's a talent discrepancy between him and some of the number 1 receivers. He doesn't have the makeup speed. That's why they play so fucking far off the line so many goddamn times, right? Is to try to make up for it. But there are some things that you would say year in year, 3 or 4 now for him?
Yeah, I believe year 4. Yeah, 21, 22. Yeah.
There's some shit you shouldn't be doing and still making mistakes on a year 4. Like, it does show me that there is a ceiling to him. And the ceiling to me is still average number 2 corner.
Yeah.
I can take that if you got a good number 1.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've been saying it a lot. Like this concept of comfort zone for me, I think it helps him a whole lot to know that Marshawn Lattimore is on the other side. I think having a guy like Marshawn Lattimore, when he comes, he's not playing again. He's ruled out, just to be clear. But when that kind of guy is there on defense, I think it gives the whole team a lift, just even emotionally in terms of what he brings to the table and that attitude he brings. So I think it'll help a lot. But yeah, to your point, KDot, it does seem to be a lot of the same mistakes, and I can understand why the fan base is so frustrated with it. We're frustrated with them too. We're just not going the extra mile like some people have and are just like taking it personally. And so that you will not see us do.
Betterman St. Ash Juice at one point on this we've read in the comment.
Yeah, I believe so.
It was rough.
Rough. No, that was rough. We go over to Big Papa Grizzly. Shout out. I would like to draw the obvious parallel between losing to Baltimore and losing to Pittsburgh. All of the players are even more pissed after this loss than they were after losing to the Ravens. We all remember the performance we put on after that game. If I were the Eagles, and thank God I'm not, I'd be preparing for a buzzsaw. I'm just pointing out that this team has bounced back big after every setback this season. A little bit of chirping after that. We've got, oh no, he didn't, replying, going, we're going to beat y'all by double digits. We got Big Papa Grizzly going, birds always chirp. November isn't the best month for turkeys like y'all. You're going to see a real NFL QB this Thursday. And then, of course, we've got, oh no, he didn't, going, y'all haven't played anyone good. It just keeps going and going. And KDot, your reaction to the comment.
From John Fetterman to ballot boxes to AJ Brown to the Rocky statue. Fuck Pennsylvania. All right. Fuck them. Anybody talking that shit from Pennsylvania, man, fuck you. Y'all taking some L's right now. All right. In life. Fuck y'all. Outside of that, fucking jackasses. I'd agree with the buzzsaw take. 100%. This is a team that learns from their mistakes. If it wasn't for the short fucking week, I don't like it. I think that, like, I'm all for, like, you get a week to hype up and get where you need to get to. The only hope for me is that the guys that we have coming back that are fresh, be it your Brian Robinson, is enough to propel everybody else, or he's fresh enough to take a whole load on his fucking shoulders, or right. Jayden Daniels is now fully healthy and you could do more with him. But if I got to count on everybody on the team from what I saw last week to this week to turn into a buzzsaw, I don't have a lot of faith in that.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I think, again, the short week is what I was initially picking Philly. And I'm so serious when I say just seeing that clip and just like the emotional, the spiritual read of it, of like, oh, he does look a lot more like himself now, bouncing around, stuff like that, and saying, I'm back. I think that's him telling himself, yeah, I'm good. And so short week is scary. On the road is scary. This is as talented a team as exists in the NFL. I was pointing to my other monitor that you guys don't get to see. But,
look, Terry has looked like a dog. No quitting that at all. He's been playing at a fucking 10 and hasn't been going down from that. If Jayden's healthy, finally, and B-Rob's there, your three most important pieces on your offense are now playing at a full clip, and they haven't been. Mm-hmm. It gets interesting. It gets interesting. It gets super interesting.
And need I remind y'all, and this is more reason for optimism, the two games we lost, the Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Brian Robinson didn't play. And the only other loss, week 1 at Tampa, Todd Bowles' defense, Jayden's very first start. Those are the losses. We go over to Muhammad Iqbal. Shout out. Appreciate y'all for being base takes. Tough loss, but I think the lads will be better from this. KDot, are we going to rebound from this overall? Thinking longer term, has Kliff been figured out, etc.?
I don't think so. I do have some questions as far as Kliff and what he's doing, but I also think that they've been fairly limited with the injuries on what they can do. Yeah, there were some personnel decisions in this game. I'm like, dude, you can help out just a bit more. Don't get him fucking hurt. But like, I really think I think crazy enough, the person we missed the most was Andrew Wiley, and I don't think it's close.
Yeah, I seem to recall TJ Watt was lined up on that side a whole lot. And Highsmith was also just getting in the backfield at will.
I didn't talk about Coleman. Coleman in the All-22, rough day. Highsmith was beating his ass.
Highsmith was there.
He was beating his ass. That's the thing, is like the edge guys just, they were able to do what the fuck it is they wanted to do because we just didn't have the tackle depth. And like I said, where Coleman has his most success, if he's not rotating, is to have guys be able to chip and help out, and it just wasn't there.
We go over to Earl Bruce. Shout out OG over here. Everyone should be happy they look this good in the first year of a rebuild. They're playing with house money. The future is bright. And that is objectively true. Once again, this was a recalibration is what they called it. We were like, yeah, okay, it's a rebuild. And here we are at 7-3 in our to date game of the year in sort of a house money situation when looking at the schedule up ahead. KDot, your reaction?
Yeah, I think even when we were doing like the preseason stuff, when we started getting around, I think you were more bullish than I was. And I was calling you a fucking idiot. Like this is crazy. Like this is, I mean, I was reinformed that like maybe that was accurate after the Panthers situation, but but on this,
I can't
right.
say much to that.
On this, you were right. Like I couldn't fathom that this team and what I saw last year, even with the hatred that I have for Eric Bieniemy and his stupid decision making, and even though I was so high on Dan Quinn and everybody with the coach staff, this to me, where we're at right now, is insane. It's insane. I don't think we talk about how insane it is as much as we need to be.
Well, the thing is, I think we all adjusted our expectations so quickly. Think about it. We lost by 1 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We lost by 3 to the Baltimore Ravens. These weren't realities a while back. And now we're like, man, we let that one get away in just 1 year.
I thought we'd still have Drake May heads and JJ heads arguing about who the quarterback pick should be. Like I thought we'd still be there. It's not. We're done. It's
honestly
over.
So glad you said that because Brendan Nichols goes,
hell.
KDot, did JJ McCarthy explain the use of a hard count to draw the defense offside well in his interview? I'll take that one.
Yep.
He probably did. I'm going to go ahead and say he probably did explain that one. And we could have used it. Rough moment for Johnny Newton, but I think he'll be better from it. And
that cocksuck's trying to call me now.
He's got unbelievable timing. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's Brent. We go over to Vindo. Shout out Vindo. Oh, gee. Low key glad if this was our worst game. Thursday night is game of the year potential. I'm guessing +6, really not many are picking us to win, which is fine. But when you got 5, any win is possible. And trust me, I'm riding vibes on this pick there. Just seeing that he seems to be himself on. I'm reading a lot of that clip, which I've been known to do. KDot, your reaction to that?
No, I think that's dead on. It's like right now, when you talk about like the recalibration of things, when you have Jayden Daniels on your team, playing at the clip that he's playing and now healthy, you are in everything. There is nothing that is going to be surprising as far as a victory on our fucking schedule. Right. Period. Yep. It would just be really nice to have one here when we probably should.
Yep. Honestly, agreed. We go over to Coach. Shout out, Coach. KDot and I had this convo months ago. I projected 7 wins for your team because of your weaknesses at wide receiver depth, offensive tackle, and cornerback. Looking forward to your takes on the All-22. C-Rod got 2 carries? Was Jayden throwing the ball behind dudes? Get up. You want to answer this?
I'm not going to say Jayden was like solely doing that. He was not nearly as polished as he typically is. Mm-hmm. They had the 2 really great drives. He leaned on Terry early in those drives to kind of get himself set and then kind of work from there. Yeah, the Chris Rodriguez, I was kind of surprised by that, even watching the All-22, because I thought he had more carries than that when I was looking back at the game, but I was like, oh, no, he didn't. Yeah, I think Nichols is probably who we think he is. Like, he's clearly just not Eckler. He's not
named a captain.
He's named a captain for this game. But I think if you have a situation where Nichols isn't really getting done, I'd like to see them bounce between those other 2 and just kind of ride the hot hand. I think that's probably the best way to go about it if you're going to try to keep running. But I just don't think that we were as committed to the run as we probably should have been in that game.
Fair enough. We go over to the RT boss. Shout out. Sup, fellas? I want this win against the Eagles bad. Slowing down Saquon, AJ, Jaylen are the keys to victory. If we are able to find a way to slow those guys down. And once again, I think it is committing resources to the run, hoping Jalen Hurts is a bit off or making a play defensively in that backfield. Then yeah, I'd love our chances to win if we're able to slow them down, KDot.
Yeah. If we're able to
I
slow
agree
them down,
with the keys, is what I'm saying.
no. If we can slow them down, like if we can get those, like I said, if it comes down to it, like the perfect scenario is that Kellen Moore's calling a bad game. The throwing in situation they probably shouldn't be throwing in. We're stopping the run for the most part. Jalen's not being able to get out of the fucking pocket, and we're sacking him. And now we have a situation where the score's tied. We're not down. We can be up potentially. Then, like, dude, if we get up in that game, if we get up in this game early, and I think Philadelphia is also one of those teams, if I'm not mistaken, they don't do a whole. Is it them that don't do a whole lot in the first quarter?
Yeah. Well, it was. Yeah. You're correct. You're correct.
So, like, if we can jump out to something and make them more one-dimensional, where they can't rely on Saquon, and we can pin our ears back and go after his ass. Yeah, it can get ugly for them potentially.
Absolutely. And shout out Dante Fowler, who's third in the NFL in sacks right now. So he's been hot recently.
Yes.
Does he continue? We go over to House of a Minstry. Shout out. We saw so many uncharacteristic moments in the game. To me, after listening to other podcasts pointing out crazy moments, I think this game was fixed to have a higher rating for Thursday's nationally televised audience. I'm sorry. Too many unexplainable drops. Last the spot of the ball in the fourth by the ref. I'm sorry. This looks very suspicious. And House of a Ministry just had enough. Was the game fixed? Too many drops. That spot by the refs. Jumping offside. KDot, weigh in.
Look, unlike Amit there, I voted for the Democrats. And what we don't do is claim that people were cheating after we just lost. You know, we take responsibility for what happened. And I'm not going to blame it on the refs. I'm not going to blame it on the voting booths. I'm not going to blame it on that stuff. There's no conspiracy to me. We lost the game. And if you watch the All-22, you deserve to lose the game with some of the mistakes that we did.
I was reading a comment. I'm going to go over to Mr. Payne, 134, also voted blue.
Your guy won. It's okay.
No, he did not. Baltimore and Pittsburgh. I don't know about A-Train's guy, just to be clear, but
we know what A-Train's doing.
Yeah, actually, you know what? We do know who A-Train would have voted for. I did not. I don't know if A-Train voted. Mr. Payne, 134 goes.
Yeah, that guy, he voted twice.
Pittsburgh. I know that was the fun, subtle. Like, I wonder if people are like, wait a minute, does he have an alter ego? And did he vote twice?
Is A-Train registered to vote in Pennsylvania? It makes all the sense now.
He honestly just might be. I don't remember part of election day. I thought I was sick, but maybe something else was going on. Mr. Payne, 134 goes. Pittsburgh and Baltimore were the two tough games. Tampa was the first, so we had no chemistry yet. This Pittsburgh game was frustrating, but let's take it out on Philly. Amen, Mr. Payne, 134. And it's something KDot said, right? When we pulled up that schedule, these next two games against Philadelphia are the hardest games remaining on the schedule. We have two games against the Dallas Cowboys as well, but Dak Prescott is not going to be playing in those games, and they can't stop the run, nor can they run. So they have an uphill battle against us. Tennessee Titans are another team we get to play against. The Atlanta Falcons. I know my feelings on Kirk in December, but I mean, he's been playing well. I'll give it to him. So, like, that's toss-up game over there. We've got a nice schedule up ahead, KDot.
Yeah, no doubt. Look, man, I want to buy into it. You've heard me talk about those narratives. This is not a team that makes the same mistakes 2 weeks in a row. I don't see it. I see us bouncing back and not having the same miscues as last week. I just don't like how banged up we are on a short week.
Completely agreed. The organization is looking forward to this game on a short week. They are thankful that it is a short week. That's what they're saying. They're saying all the right things, doing all the right things. Let's see.
No excuses.
No excuses. Let's see if that produces a result against the Philadelphia Eagles. Tony, again, shout out. Also, Zane Gonzalez has the most I don't give a fuck pre-snap stance. Exclamation point. He does look pretty chill. Now, that being said, 38-35 Commanders in that environment, I'm thinking it's sort of a chip shot, looking at like 37 yards. Keep it nice and easy. Anything beyond that, I'm terrified. Just being honest. That's scary. That's scary.
Fucking get out.
Yeah. So that field goal, chip shot. Coach, one more time. It would be interesting to see your blame pie for the Pittsburgh game on your All-22 analysis. KDot, a blame pie, if you had to make one real quick.
60% offense as a whole.
Okay.
Tony
at 65%, so you're close.
30% 3 mistakes on one drive, one defense. And then whatever's left over, coaching.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, and then there's like an aura of injury. It's clouding everything.
And the pie has injury written on it.
It's just injury.
Yeah.
It's like every piece of the pie, you just say injury.
Okay. Go over to Tony one more time. Shout out to the pick you used of Drazon Newton. LOL. And so KDot ends up, when he is doing the graphics and stuff like that, picks the images as well. And there's one of Johnny Newton being tapped on the head. Just, hey, head up, rookie. We're moving forward. He is, of course, the one that jumped offside. He clearly took it. He took it really hard. You could tell from the post-game interview. Like he really feels it. And I'm very, very thankful that he is with a Dan Quinn-led org, because I do fully believe that we've got the kids back.
The thing that, if you rewatch it, which it's hard to watch, but if you rewatch it, the reaction of everyone around him immediately is like, oh.
Yeah.
Because I had the same reaction here on the fucking couch. The fuck you do that for?
Both sides, right? You've got Washington going, no. And you've got Pittsburgh going nuts.
Dance. Oh, I've never wanted to punch Russell Wilson so much in the face and that see him do that stupid fucking dance. I can't believe I defend that fucker. So, yeah, never again. Never again. I don't think it'll never happen in his career again. I'd be surprised if he ever gets another offsides again in his life.
Honestly.
Because
that looked like a traumatic moment for him.
No joke. It's somebody who's currently in therapy for PTSD. That's a moment. That's a fucking moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can see him in the interview you see his eyes. He was crying. Like, yeah, man, it's bad. But just like everybody else on that team who in the moment reacted the way anybody should react viscerally in that moment, it was a fuck up. But if the team can move past it, then sure enough, we fucking can.
Absolutely. We got his back. 100%. We go over to Blood Clot. Shout out. I'm just going to comment immediately after the game from now on. It's the comment from Blood Clot, who basically had described a shellacking of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Didn't quite happen that way. And so I think that's where that's coming from. KDot. Yeah, hey, listen, Blood Clot, we make predictions before the game all the time, so don't you worry about it. I appreciate that you make the predictions just like us, sticking your neck out there. So don't worry about it at all. I would say do it again. Double down. Go ahead, KDot.
Just keep doing it.
Keep doing your thing.
You're one of us, so you're not going to catch shit the same way some other people do. Coach!
Speaking of, and this does it conclude? Hold on. I need to make sure that we're not missing any, because I have a tendency to do that. Let's see. KDot, you know what? I'm going to ask you to look, if that's okay.
There's
make
one
sure I
from
did.
the last video.
What'd you say?
There's one from the last video.
Is it Jacinto?
It is.
Oh. Okay. How about? Oh, I see it.
There you go.
Haha, I see it. But you had mentioned Coach, so we'll go to Coach, and then we will go to Jacinto.
Okay.
Whew, glad we did that check. Coach goes. This game, Thursday Night Football, will be won or lost on the line of scrimmage. Philly is fully healthy, and you all have a bunch of banged up, not too talented tackles. Kliff needs to live in Max Pro or chocolate chip cookie dough to keep his precious offensive rookie of the year quarterback safe. We're starting to see more of the true coach here, by the way. Fangio runs a ton of C3 match, and I don't see a ton of 4 verts on Thursday Night Football. Washington can't get there with 4, so I can see a lot of wide open spaces for AJ, Devonta, and maybe even Jahan to exploit in Washington's coverage. I respect B-Rob, so I won't call a blowout. Player of the game, Saquon Barkley. 26-20 Philly. Philadelphia under, and the Philly money line. Go Birds is the comment. KDot, your reaction to the prediction and some of the analysis there from Coach.
Coach, I might have an opinion on your analysis. I might even agree with your analysis. But fuck all that shit, man. Philly going down. Philly going down. Fuck all that shit. Bring it. Bring it, bitches. Bring it. Bring it, motherfucker. Jayden's healthy now. He's healthy now.
Five's back.
Don't fucking do it, right? City of Brotherly Love, my ass, you racist piece of shit. And you voted for the wrong guy. Fuck all that shit. Fuck Philadelphia. Man, fuck Will Smith. Fuck Rocky. Fuck Philadelphia. Fuck Meek Mill. Fuck all them bitches. Fuck them.
I wish we had read Jess Santo's comment before. I just concluded with that. But we go over to Jess Santo. Agreed on all fronts. Huge game versus the Sheagles. Quinn and Witt need to get this defense squared away. The run defense has been suspect at times, and they always take the foot off the gas in the fourth quarter. Lattimore alone should be able to stop some of the explosive plays that have been given up, but they will have their hands full with Barkley. Of course, Lattimore out of this game. We need this win big time. Go Dubs. Share this shit. Hit the like button too, bitches. Appreciate that, Jess. KDot, your reaction to Jess Santos' comment.
No notes. Yeah, but there is something we haven't talked about enough. And in the All-22, I can't diagnose it either. I don't know what's happening in the fourth quarter. The last few weeks, there's been some fourth quarter shit that's been a little weird, like stuff that we're giving up on defense. Sometimes the offense just doesn't look as good as they have at certain other points. Fourth quarter's been a weird one for us. I don't know what that is.
A lot of it.
I know you've been saying more like you think these guys on defense are gassed at that point.
I think so. And so when we look at some of our last games, so like that Chicago game where we're kicking field goals and then all of a sudden we're getting stopped. I think that's where the lack of complementary football takes over. And we talk about it with Pittsburgh. I think the same thing happened. Remember, as epic as it was, it did take a Hail Mary to beat the Chicago Bears, right? So there's that. The Pittsburgh game, the Giants were running all over us. And so I think that maybe took a bit of a toll. And then but that fourth quarter, I wouldn't necessarily put on just a fatigue defense. That was weird. But that's division on the road, just like this is. So we'll see.
I don't have a diagnosis.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We're about to get a new data point here coming up shortly. Once again, this was the show. This was District Divided.
There is one more Jess Santo comment from the last video.
Oh,
not this video.
No, that one I didn't see.
There's another one.
You read it.
All right, I can do that.
Mostly because I can't. I don't see it.
Okay. Because I don't think we read Jess's the last time we did an episode.
Oh, one more comment real quick. Vaccinated anti-vaxxer? NFL scripted. That's it. All right, go ahead.
All right, so this was right after the Steelers loss. That was a rough one. The wide receivers dropped too many damn balls. Our run defense was suspect again. I think Daniels handled the pressure well. Never thought I'd say I miss Wiley. The offensive standouts were Eckler, Scary, and Daniels. The defense still struggles against the run. That needs to be corrected as soon as possible. The defensive standouts were Sanders still, Fowler, and Chin. Yeah, Chin's been playing pretty fucking
He had a great game.
The Steelers came in more prepared than Washington. The Commanders seemed like they get nervous when they're playing a good team. They play physical and confident, but they need to work on that killer instinct. The game felt like a playoff game, and the more experienced team won. We cannot lose to Philly. Hopefully this loss lights a fire under their asses. Losing to the Eagles and Steelers would derail this team's momentum. Share this shit.
Share this shit.
Yes.
Get it.
It's the first time I'm just going to tell you I disagree. I agree with a lot of stuff, at least early on in some of the analysis sort of stuff, but like who had a good game, who didn't have a good game. This to me is not a must win. It doesn't have anything to do with momentum. This is them coming off a fucking short week. This is you're playing the two best teams. We're playing above our fucking weight class, and we're still staying in it, at least when you count the Pittsburgh game, you count the Baltimore game. To me, the momentum gets built up over some of these cupcake teams before you go into the bye. I want us hitting our fucking stride going into the playoffs. Not necessarily right now. I don't give a fuck about right now. I want us to hit that stride going in a little later on. That, to me, is where I care about the momentum.
Right. And this team, I think, understands that. I think this team is able to play light in big spots, which is why I really love this team. And I think a lot of us love this team. And there is already one example of them going into an opposing environment in a perceived must-win for them in prime time and snatching their souls from them in that win against the Cincinnati Bengals. They look to do the same against the Philadelphia Eagles. That was the show. This was District Divided, a DC Sports podcast, more specifically a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening to this preview episode against the Philadelphia Eagles and the All-22 review brought to you by KDot. As always, I'm Amit, and that is the aforementioned KDot. If you enjoyed the video, please like it, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and KDot.
Share this shit! it. Share it.
Share this shit. We appreciate you guys so much. After the pod begins right now. Man, did you ever watch Hard Knocks with the Giants?
No, I never got around to it. I still haven't watched Receiver either.
I haven't watched Receiver either, too, because I don't have Netflix anymore. So I would have to see it, with somebody else, I guess, or get someone's Netflix login. But it's a fun rewatch, the Hard Knocks Giants, considering all the shit they've gotten wrong, especially the Saquon stuff, because they did a whole episode on Saquon. And
I saw enough clips from that when I feel
John Mara being like, hey, you know what? Would hate to lose him, especially in the division, just to be clear. Our fans love him. Joe Shane going, no, it's fine. We'll be fine. They're not fine. Saquon looks incredible with the Eagles.
No, I really think everybody's getting fired in New York.
I think they have to. And it's sort of a shame because I like Brian Daboll. I actually think he's a pretty good coach. There's a lot of stuff he does that, to me, is next level relative to a lot of coaches. So at least analytically, I think he's very savvy. But yeah, I mean, he's got to, unfortunately.
I can say he's got a good track record. I think he's a pretty good offensive mind. I think that Daniel Jones has not been good for them. I think that, like, the fact that you have a guy like Malik Neighbors and you can't really take advantage of that fact right now, the way the offense is rolling. And then it's not on Brian Daboll. You get rid of a Saquon Barkley. It's not on Brian Daboll that you. So, like, I get all that. It's just more of do you let Daboll in this current regime choose a quarterback and give them another runway? Because I don't think you want to pull an Eberflus sort of situation in Chicago.
Right. I see what you're saying.
So, like, if they're going to get rid of everybody, let's say they're getting rid of Josh, like they're cleaning house as far as the GM. Yeah. You get a new GM come in. Does he want Daboll? Maybe. And, like, I think it's one of those things where, like, if I had to put money on it, if everybody's getting fired, everybody's getting fired.
No,
like,
once you explained it, I think you're exactly right. You can't let go of the GM and then still have Daboll because you rate him. I mean, it would be a gamble, I suppose. Like, you have to be absolutely certain. You almost have to extend him. Actually, in that situation, you would have to go, okay, we're keeping you. We recognize your record. So to prove that we want you, we're actually extending you.
Right.
And you get to basically start over. We trust you.
You start over with our top 10 quarterback pick.
Yeah, because he was pretty adamant in the Hard Knocks. The reason I was asking, he was pretty adamant on taking a QB. Like, there were only so many clips that came out, but he was like, yeah, I'd trade up for Jayden. Yeah, I'd trade up for Drake. Like, he was like, I'd do it.
They offered a shit ton of New England to go try to get Drake. Like, we just hung up the phone. Like, it's
thank God. God bless Adam Peters.
Well, in New England's also, they're like, fuck yeah, I'm glad we did.
Drake looks good, man.
Because New England was also one of those things where the fan base was saying, like, yo, Drake better hit if you said no to that draft compensation in New York was talking about. He better fucking hit.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody looks like, yeah, they're happy with what they got. The only person that probably unhappy, but maybe they'll be happy in the long term, so they have the last laugh, is Atlanta. Because, like, you look at Atlanta's like,
I like Penix a lot.
I like Penix a lot. But yeah. Atlanta, there's no telling if Atlanta did the right thing until a few years from now, right? So, like, but you look at that Atlanta Falcons team, and you're like, oh, I wish they had another pass rusher.
Yeah.
I wish they had something.
No, that's true. The rookie, I think the rookie class overall has done quite well. Bo Nix has been a lot better than I thought. And I gotta own up to that one because I was so clouded by all the Auburn stuff, but he plays on time within structure. Great landing spot with Sean Payton. So far, he's looked good. He left the field basically with the expectation that they were going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. So I don't care. Yeah, he's played well.
He's a gunslinger. The Bo's going to fuck it up at times. There's no getting around it. He will fuck it up. It's looking more solid. It's looking more consistent. Because he was just chaos good, like chaos in a good way, more in the bad way. But I'm telling you, like, he's going to throw them out of games. He's going to keep them in games.
Right.
It's going to be interesting. But Bo is really, really fun to fucking watch. He's a lot of fun to watch.
You have been saying that.
I didn't like that on the Ryan Russillo podcast. I thought I heard him talk about himself in the third person. I was like, that is.
Oh yeah, yeah. I still remember doing the quarterback rankings thing, and you had said that.
But I like Bo Nix. I do. I like Bo Nix. I just think, how do you not, the name alone? He just seems like a fucking Friday Night Lights character. Bo Nix. Like, you fucking kidding me?
Oh, for sure.
So, like, I like you dropping trouble. I don't like Sean Payton, but there's no getting around. Sean Payton knows how to fucking deal with quarterbacks unless they're black and Russell Wilson. Like, like, I just think that they're a perfect marriage, and I think it works. And if you look, Sean Payton's an asshole.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's stupid. He's just an asshole.
He knows football.
It would have been very fucking stupid to compare this guy to Patrick Mahomes unless you really thought that he was something.
Well, in that respect, I do think Sean Payton's stupid.
but
I think his X's and O's are great.
But I think that's lighting a fire under a guy like Bo Nix. Like, if you hear Bo Nix talk, that's lighting a fire. That's not setting unrealistic expectations. That's Bo saying, yeah, I could do this.
I see what you're
saying. Bo can do this. Like, that to me that's the chess.
Bo can do this. Well done.
Like, that's the chess move with a Bo Nix, right? He's like, Bo can be that dude. It's just you wouldn't do that with most quarterbacks. Like, if he were to say that about like Jayden Daniels, like, don't fucking do it. Jayden doesn't want to be compared to anybody. Like, you don't do that.
Right.
Drake May doesn't want to be compared to anybody. But Bo might be that guy.
Recognizing personality. And it shocked me. Like, how I don't know that poise is necessary. He's improved. Like, that's what you want. He's improved his rookie. Yeah. And that helps. That's the gunslinger mentality. That's the gunslinger mentality.
He's going to have multiple 4 or more interception games in his career. He's going to have a few.
Yeah, he'll be 7-0 in those games, as you know.
He's fun, man. Bo is fun, and what they're doing up in Denver is fun. And that defense, they got some guys, man.
Is legit.
They got some dudes. They're a team that they're like when I was doing when we were predicting the divisions and everything. Somebody I used to do the old podcast with, James, who's a huge Raiders fan. We were like, Denver's going to finish ahead of you in the division, right? And he just couldn't believe it. He was so indignant about it.
I would have been on his side. I had Denver winning like 3 games. I was like, he sucks, whatever. And
Vegas is trash. Like, I don't know what y'all was talking about. Like, Vegas is like, Denver is just going to be, they're going to be in the conversation. They're going to beat teams they have no business beating.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely no business beating. And they're going to lose to some teams that are bad because they're not that great.
I was going to say, on the flip side, they play against your side piece team, the Atlanta Falcons. They host them. That is easily a game where I could see him throwing the game, 3-4 picks to Atlanta.
I'm excited to see Jayden Daniels on primetime again, especially in division route. Like, it's just good TV. But I'm more excited. Like, Sunday, not having to watch Commanders and watch this full slate, it's a good slate of games.
It's a great slate of games.
So, I'm like, I just watch fucking football and just bet on things all day. Like, it's
Pittsburgh,
gonna be
Baltimore. I don't know how that wasn't the flexed game, but I guess we've seen so much Baltimore. Maybe, I don't know if there's a rule around that or something like that, but that's a game at 1:00. Then we got Chiefs Bills with the Bills favored. With the Bills favored, that almost feels like whatever Chiefs voodoo magic's happening feels like free money almost, because these guys just win no matter what. They just won on a block kick. Like, it doesn't matter.
Like, Kansas City was my Super Bowl pick.
Yeah,
I'm never wavering on that. I actually think a loss here would be good for them.
I agree. It takes the pressure off, and then they can just
completely off. They can lose, and it's Buffalo. Cool. We'll see in the playoffs, bitches. Like, and that to me is like, I like that. I like that narrative. I don't want there to be this bill. I don't think they give a fuck about it, but Kansas City is the ultimate, by any means necessary. We are going to get these dubs. Okay. Like, block field goal. And I know if people have seen enough of the tape, enough people talk about it, that it wasn't some fluke shit. They knew what they were doing in that. They are a prepared fucking team. There's a reason Andy Reid and that staff is elevated to the level at which they're at. They're fucking, they know what the fuck they're doing.
There is probably a hidden sense of helplessness if you're a fan of a contender. You're seeing Patrick Mahomes play at the level he's at, which is like, and these guys keep winning anyway. Like, that's scary.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of conversations with people like, Mahomes is the MVP. Like Mahomes is sucking this year. Like it's his worst. I'm
Not
like
sucking, but he
he doesn't have to be flashy. I don't care about Mahomes being flashy. I don't care about it. I don't care about the stat.
Okay,
What I care about is in the fourth fucking quarter when you need a throw. You need this throw.
Right.
Is he going to make it? Yes. There's no one I'm betting against. I'm never betting against him.
I just say the defense has been unreal this season.
Defense has been awesome. They've been fucking awesome.
They've been
And
incredible.
look, Kareem Hunt doing better than I anticipated. He's not great, but he's doing better than I anticipated. But I'm saying when the fucking hamster gets back into it, man, when Pacheco comes back,
Oh boy.
like that to me. And look, Hopkins,
I think he may be back this week.
and Hopkins looks like he's rejuvenated.
Oh, how could you not be?
I'm playing with.
How could
Have
you
you
not
seen who I had to play with? I'm playing with him now.
He was damn near emotional in his post-game interview a couple weeks ago.
I love having him on fantasy team. Like it's.
Bet.
I have the two wide receivers that hated their situation more than any other. I had Devontae Adams and DeAndre Hopkins. I drafted both of them with the hopes that whatever team they started on, they would not make up midseason.
You hit on both.
Hit on both. Still losing in fantasy. I did want to say something. Personally, something that Commanders fan related that came up.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
So my mom is a nanny. She's been a nanny since I was in like 5th grade. So like over the course of years, like some of the kids that she's nannied, like I was always around. So they're like almost siblings, like I'm like big brother and almost uncle to some of them in a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
So I like grew up with them. So like the parents of those kids, they almost look at them like second parents or something. On Instagram the other day, the eldest kid of the first family my mom ever nannied for, his name's Matt. He DM'd me on Instagram and was like, "Hey, I was talking to my dad the other day, and we were trying to figure out why am I a Commanders fan? Because like my dad's from Seattle, he's a huge Seahawks fan. I grew up in a Seahawks household. My mom doesn't care anything about football.
Yeah.
But I've always been a diehard Commanders fan, and he's like, I think it's because of you." And I teared up a little bit because I remember. And he was like, I remember all the jerseys. Because I started thinking, I'm like, yeah, man, I used to talk about the Commanders. Like, I was a diehard. I was a huge Redskin. Like, everyone knew. Because, like, the same way I talk into a microphone is just what I was doing at school, what I was doing outside of school. I talked about the fucking team. I was loud about it. So it was awesome to know that, like, I don't have any children, but I had, like, a younger brother that really I'm responsible for, like, their fandom in this team. And what's so special about it is that he gets to experience this, and this success that we're having right now, and he loves that. And I just thought it was cool.
That is super cool. That is really fucking cool. A positive impact. It probably wasn't positive at the time. You're like, dude, man, why the fuck do I love this team so much? But look at him now. I mean, it's pretty cool now.
I remember I got in a lot of trouble once. Their parents freaked out on me, and my mom freaked out on me. I'm back in high school, and so he's got to be like elementary school at that particular point in time. And I used to watch a lot of movies at their house. So like we'd be out of the house and be in the basement and watch movies or whatever. And I showed him the movie Independence Day.
Oh. And
apparently he was giving him fucking nightmares.
Yeah.
So like,
I bet.
Why would you let me watch that? I'm like, it was Independence Day. Like, I used to get so they would have to sanitize whatever it is that I was going to watch around them. So just so I'd be in the basement, like you turn on MTV and like Laffy Taffy would come on and I'd change the channel because one of the kids couldn't come down. I was a terrible influence, except for the Commanders. Did a good thing there.
You did a great thing there. No, I mean that just sounds like classic growing up, though, right? Like you're teetering on the edge, you're looking over your shoulder just in case. You got like the thing on that you actually want to see, and then the parents come down, you switch channels. That's classic stuff, right there.
I used to watch The Departed a lot.
It's classic, like older brother stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do that all the time too. Like, yeah, I totally get that.
Good shit.
Great shit. Yeah, I'm looking at Mahomes' stats over here. Yeah. Huge game though. Huge game back on the Commanders.
I don't care about flashy quarterback play. I care.
That's fair. And he has been great in the fourth quarter. I think there have been chinks in the armor, but that's okay. He's a human being at the end of the day.
I think they're chinks in the armor, but he's missing Rashee Rice, and they do have talent deficiencies. Pacheco and Rice are gone.
I completely forgot about Rice.
Like, what is he doing? Kelsey's geriatric out there, man. Like, what are we doing?
And he's going to step up in the playoffs, and we all know it.
Of course. So, like, all they have to do is keep winning. Just win. If home field advantage has
I'm going through Chiefs fatigue. I'm going through Chiefs.
I don't. So like, there are some teams where the fan bases are enough to piss me off.
Yeah.
And like how they act when they're winning can piss me off. And there are some teams where like the entire fan base is made out of fair weather people that aren't from there. But when I see somebody like the Kansas City, the only thing that bothers me about the Kansas City Chiefs is how the fuck are they getting away with all this Native American Indian fucking shit? We got caught.
It's a fair question.
That shit gets that every once in a while I'm like, clearly doing the tomahawk. Like, is that okay? But their fan base rooted in Kansas City. I don't see a lot of people hopping on the Kansas City Chiefs bandwagon as much as they might be a fan of Kelsey or a Swiftie and a fan of Kelsey, or they're a fan of Mahomes. But it's not like their fan base is in it, and they've gone through the good times and the bad times. They rock with that team. They've always been there for that team. Even the New England Patriots always had mad respect for Tom Brady and New England Patriots. I used to catch a lot of shit from everybody around me, but I respect greatness in that way. And I also look at New England Patriots fans, while they are annoying because they're Boston fans, what I give them credit for, at least the older generation, some of the young guys, fuck them. But the older guys, that team before the Tom Brady era, like the tail end of the Drew Bledsoe era, they fucking sucked.
Yeah.
So bad. So bad. Like, how the fuck? Why? Why'd you stay a fan of that? Like, it's not even like they were exciting or chaotic. It was just bad. Like, I asked most people, like, can you name a New England Patriot that was on the team before 1993? Most people can't do that. You can probably do it for every other franchise. Can't do it for them. It's not a whole lot.
Yeah, sorry ass franchise at that time.
So I'm like, I rock with them. I hate Red Sox fans, and most of they do. There's an overlap, but I respect that. I fuck the Lakers. Fuck the Lakers. Fuck some of these. Fuck the Cowboys. Fuck the Cowboys. But there is a greatness aspect to some of these guys, and I'm like, I just respect it. I respect what you're doing at the top.
So you're fuck the Lakers, fuck Cowboys, love the Yankees.
Yankees
well, maybe not anymore.
No, but you remember, Yankees is I clearly say, and I state outright, me ever being a Yankees fan is a character flaw.
That's true. You have said
it is a flaw. I can't help it. Like, it was something that I chose as a kid. It made sense. I can logically walk you through it. I've done it before. It makes sense to me anyway. But I still think even if it makes sense, it is a flaw. No, I shouldn't be a Yankees fan. Nobody should be a Yankees fan unless you're from fucking New York.
I would agree with that. All righty. I think we're at this hard stop here. $1.42 in. So we should probably let people go. But time flies when you're having some fun. So thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate it. And we will see you guys Friday, 2 p.m. with the recap of the game that happens Thursday night. So until then, take it easy.
Have fun, everybody. Hopefully we keep that. Fuck Pennsylvania!
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.